Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Best wishes. Hope everybody's well. I got a couple things I just want to bring to your attention. Um, One of them is a stretch. Okay, it's it's something I want to throw out there and say, here you go. But I can't get there. I can't put them together. Maybe you guys can. I'm gonna show you something I looked at and been bothering me. And then I sent it to someone who I deeply trust, and I asked her opinion about it, and she didn't see it. So at that point, I questioned it. I stopped and I looked and I took a step back and I said, okay, she's right. I don't see it. And it took her to say that to me for me to stop, pause, and reevaluate what I have. And it's a stretch, it's a big stretch. However, not gonna throw any math at you. I'm anti-math here. I don't math in any way. There's no math to be had here. So I'm just gonna give it to you and see if you can put something together. Now, please don't make the stretch and jump at it. Think logically. I know you guys will. You're all brilliant. Everyone is. Um, okay. The vehicle that Karen was driving, we know, is a big vehicle. It's a big SUV. Me being smaller in stature, we'll say, everything's big to me. But when I look at these SUVs, I'm using that step to get into them. So their tail lights are higher in the back, which is more eye level to me. So I see tail lights a little more frequent as I walk by a vehicle. If I'm going to the supermarket and I walk through the parking lot, I look at all the tail lights. Um, so I ran across a Chevy, I think it was Traverse that John had, and I looked at it and I looked at it again. I said, nah, and I kept walking, and I had to stop and turn around and get my tape measure out and start measuring stuff. Sorry about the glare. Share screen. All right. This is what I noticed. Okay. Big deal, right? It's just a car. The back of the car has a wiper. It has a recess in the back of the tailgate, a bump. I think you see where I'm going with this. So, what did I do? What did I do? Where are we? Yeah. Um, Let me find it here real quick. Yeah. There you go. I think you see where I'm going with this, right? Yeah. So I stop and I look at that, and it's very confusing. So I take the tape measure out and I start measuring that. And do I have the other one? I don't. Okay. The last video I did had the tail light. You know, I'm going to find that post. It was a post. I remember that. It was a post on, and it was, I think it was, um, I gotta, I gotta find that. I'll look at that. Let me pause this real quick. Get rid of that. StreamYard, and I'm going to pause this. I'm going to find that measurement, and I'll be right back. Okay. I found what I was looking for. Now, I think when you see this, it'll make sense, and you'll understand why I can't get to a logical explanation with this one fact. Doesn't mean one way, it doesn't mean another way. However, this is what gets me. This is what wakes me up in the middle of the night. Let's see. Okay. That's Karen's tail light right there. The height. Somewhat. I didn't take the measurement of this. However, I'll give it its value. That's the height of the tail light. It's the height of the Chevy Traverse wiper. And where is it? This is back of her vehicle. So, can we put these things together? Do they match? Do they line up? Does this make sense? Those heights bother me. I I I can get there, but I can't without the specific values for each vehicle. I can find a way that they line up. She backed into his vehicle. I don't need to show you that video. You've seen it a million times. She backed out of the garage. She struck John's vehicle and then drove away. The Lexus taillight protrudes far away from the vehicle itself, from the body. So the taillight would be one of the first things to make contact with John's vehicle. And those heights are so close that if she backed up and she hit that light, it would pop off a piece of plastic the way that they're made in layers. It would pop that strip off. And if you see Karen's vehicle driving away, there's a spot on the right hand side that's lighter than the rest of the tail light altogether. She backs into his car. She wipes out her tail light. It's missing a piece. So when she looks at it, she knew she hit John's car. Hence why she said something to Kerry and Jennifer both, saying, "Hey, I hit something. I just hit something." Backing out of the garage. She knew that. Like she mentioned it to both girls. So I'm working on putting that together where they can mate up, whereas the back of John's car is what caused the slight crack in the taillight. And unless you were experienced with taillights and how they break, you wouldn't know a piece of that could break off and still have the bottom piece of the taillight still be intact. Layers. Layer was like a layer within a layer within a layer. Hence why when Wantless said he saw the taillight piece, it was inside the clear protective / outside layer of the taillight. I'm going to see if I can go to the junkyard and get a Lexus 570 taillight. I'm pretty sure it's going to be expensive, but we'll see. You never know. So, Mr. Wantless, I hope that General Motors does not have a rear wiper assembly replacement or even the paint color code. If that comes up and like you use Mitchell or something to get the pieces and part numbers, but if that query comes up in the GM database, I think we're going to have another show. I believe, my opinion, Karen backed into John's car, took out the rear wiper, in the process, popping piece of her brake light piece off. You get a 6,000-pound vehicle trying to push another vehicle in the driveway, because that's what happened. And if that vehicle got fixed by somebody that owns an auto body shop, not going to be cool, dude. Speaking of, there's a couple other things. So I'm not sure if you can put together the Lexus and John's vehicle, the Traverse. I'm not sure if you can make them. They're close. They're real close. Elevation wise, I'm not sure, but we'll look into that. I got so much. I got so many things I'd love just to come out and say, but I guess time, yeah. So there's one more thing I want to talk about. I'm not sure, and again, you're gonna have to put this one together. I know you're all smart. I know you are. So let me share my screen again, and let's go for a little ride. Which one am I doing? No. Where's my program? Yeah, we'll do this. Okay. Watch this. That is Deputy Chief Kelleher's house. He lives across the street. Deputy Chief of Canton. This is the side of his yard. Notice the lack of foliage. This is taken with no foliage in the fall, winter, spring, somewhere. That's where the incident happened. See the fire hydrant? John was found on the other side of the hydrant, 12 feet from that curb. This is going to be looking down Fairview. Now, what significance is this video going to have, right? What's that right there? That is Mr. Kelleher's house. He's the deputy chief of Canton. Mr. Kelleher has 3 cameras on the outside of his house. Left, right, center. Now, if the person who set up the cameras was somewhat intelligent, they would have the first cone, which is like a 30-degree view, and then they would have a second one, which is in the middle, another 30-degree, and then the third one. And you have all the images line up. So when you look, it's one complete sweep of the front of the house. Why would a deputy chief have cameras on his house? Because he's a police officer and he's worried about people coming to his house and vandalizing his cars and whatnot. So it would be extreme common sense to have the cameras facing the street and not stop at the grass line. Okay? I'm pretty sure the cameras capture the street. And if that's the case, Mr. Deputy Chief caught the entire murder on video. Whether he knew it or not, he caught it. It's on video. All 3 cameras would have shown any vehicle go left or go right in front of his house. And the police chief, Helena Rafferty, she allowed that video footage to be deleted. Whether or not the footage captured Karen's Lexus driving reverse or Karen's Lexus driving away, that camera would have caught that Lexus. Or it would have caught anything that happened that night. But yet, even though nobody's seen the footage, even though it's never been entered in evidence, even though State Trooper Proctor, with 3 cameras across the street looking at the murder scene, doesn't ask for the footage. That's as funny as Jen McCabe not going up and knocking on the Albert's door saying, hey, come help my boy John. He's not feeling good. He's out in the front lawn. Help me. Nope. 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 Hey, Jen, if you turn around and knock on the guy's house behind you, guess what? He's a first responder too. How can that lack of effort in any way, how can that lack of effort not be construed as anything but malicious and intentional? I'm talking about Helena Rafferty here. Her too. You let a fellow police officer on the Canton Police Department delete video footage. You let him do that. There was no directive. Hey, dude, you got video? Like, save it. Or, did you know that a Boston cop got murdered directly across the street? Like 17 feet from your property line? He was dead, and you got nothing to say about that? You okay? Like, oh, by the way, don't write a report about what you did view on those cameras, dude. Don't write the report. Speaking about reports, Mr. Wantless has yet to provide a single piece of paper or document saying that he got called in to remove the taillight. How do we know that's true? If he fixed John's car after the fact, dude, you're complicit. None of this trying to get in the good graces of people. Oh, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit, but I'm not going to tell you that. Knock the fuck off. It's a friggin' murder here of a Boston cop. Accused a crazy girlfriend. Not going to fly. That only lasts for 4-5 minutes, and then it's like, okay, so what really happened? Let's look at the facts. Hey, Mr. Wantless, when you got called in, did you get paid time and a half by any chance? And we're not allowed to ask questions about a public official on the clock? By the way, speaking of public officials, Mrs. Rafferty, what are the circumstances of you becoming chief? Curious. Did Bernie put a good word in for you? I'm sure he really put a good word in for you. I'm like stellar. And his retirement party was just full of people that support you, right? No. You got put in place because you shut your mouth and you let this stuff go on and not say nothing. You're the patsy. You're the fool they're playing it for. You have not asked anybody working that night to produce a piece of paper to tell you what happened. It's called a report. You freaking kidding me? You don't have any documentation about a murdered Boston cop, because that's where you're going with this. You're going with the murder thing. You're saying that Karen murdered John, but yet you don't have any documents. What a waste of fucking taxpayer money. Wow. Your officers aren't even trained. They don't even know basic crime scene etiquette. And how much money do these people make? Don't get me going here. I'm pro cop. I'm the most pro cop you'll ever meet. I'm more pro cop than you are. Miss Rafferty, why did you release a resident in your town? Why did you release her medical records? Why did you do that? To discredit her? Is that why you did that? Because you felt threatened? Miss Rafferty, why did you go in front of the selectmen and start yipping and yapping and not allow any public comment in return? You're allowed to sit there and say whatever you want. And then when people have questions, what do? Oh, I'll just meet with you one-on-one. One-on-one. You are a joke. Any decent, no. Any halfway decent chief would take the lead. I know you all have questions. Let's sit down and talk. I can't talk about that because of the case. I can't discuss that specific detail. I can't comment on this. You have the ability, Miss Rafferty. I've heard you speak in front of the selectmen. I heard you rant and rave about Aiden doing his job, because damn, he's doing his job great. And yet you can't write a report or even ask people to write reports. What kind of chief are you? What purpose are you serving the residents of Canton? What's your purpose? And did I ask, how did you get this job? Did I ask that already? Qualifications? Absolutely not. No, no, no. Not when you have red Solo cups out there, girl. The facts. Let me guess. We got to wait for more facts to come out. Fact, you didn't have anyone write a police report about what happened, like murder. Facts, like guy across the street captured the whole thing on video. Just delete it. Just, yeah, don't worry about it. This is getting bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the residents of Canton. I am so sorry for you guys. I feel bad for you guys. You are not being served whatsoever. You're not being protected whatsoever. And simple policies and procedures, you guys don't have any in Canton. I personally think it's time for a new chief in the town of Canton. Maybe somebody that cares. Maybe somebody that cares about the process. Somebody that cares about the justice system. How about somebody that knows the freaking law? Let's start with that. Can we start with a basic chief that knows the law? Because this you're going to charge Aiden for a public display of facts of, like, this is America. He can go wherever he wants. So can anybody. Who are you to tell them what they can and can't do? You can't even run a fucking police department. You can't run your office. You can't manage your guys. And and to all the police that work in Canton, you all know what's going on. What a horrible, miserable place you guys have to walk into every day. I can't imagine that police department. It must just be come and go whenever you want. Just do whatever you want. There's no rules. You got people coming in, doing work on a murder weapon, changing fucking with the evidence, and getting paid to do it. And then when it comes time to ask a question, hey, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know. Come on, guy. And then you retire. Canton can only be so lucky that these people are leaving. I pray you get some decent police officers, ones that care, ones that are competent. If you compare Canton with any other town in the entire state of Massachusetts, you'll end up in tears. It's that bad. So, I've covered the vehicles, how they're close, but I can't get there. I just can't get there. I'd like to think that the the numbers match, the height, the variable, the facts, the data. I wish 52 and 52 lined up, but they don't. And I don't know why. But I'm going to figure it out. There's a lot to it. elevation, tire pressure, location, everything. There's so can I get there? Maybe I could maybe get there. If I get there, that means Karen Reed is absolutely innocent, and these people are framing her. And as it is right now, that game of inches, like Al Pacino talks about it very well. We ain't gonna quit. Free Karen Reed.